Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. So I want to continue on with my free agency predictions. Now, for this group, I went over my top 30 in my last podcast, but for this podcast, I'm going to go over players under the radar that can be key contributors to teams or can help a team out. So let's start with Gary Trent Jr. Since he got traded to Toronto at the trade deadline, it makes sense for him just to stay there. Why leave? If you're the Raptors, why let him leave when you just traded for him? Daniel Tice, he got traded to Chicago, but this is different because Vucevic also went to Chicago, so he's not going to want to be a backup center. So I feel like he will go, in my prediction, to the Raptors to be with Boucher and have that nice, two big man combo there in Toronto, which they need. Patty Mills for San Antonio Spurs. I feel like they need, if the Spurs, you need to have veteran leadership. And if you lose DeMar DeRozan and Rudy Gay, you need someone there, from the old days. So that's where Patty Mills can come in. Plus, he's the team's best three-point shooter. So if I'm the Spurs, I keep him. Next is Jeff Green. I think he should go to 76ers. Hear me out on this one. 76ers need more shooting. Green had a career year in three-point shooting this year. So he's an upgrade over Dwight Howard in that regard. And then he's played for manager Daryl Moore before, so he knows the expectations. He knows how to play with him and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a good fit for him. Bruce Bowen, I feel like he should just stay with the Nets. He was the Nets' best defender, so I feel the Nets why let him go when you desperately need defense. So I feel like he'll stay there. Otto Porter Jr., since he just got traded to the Magic, I feel like he will stay there as well. Paul Millsap, this is an interesting one. I feel like he'll finally leave Denver now. And he wants to go. I feel like he wants to win a ring at this point. So I feel like he'll take a very veteran minimum deal, and I feel like he'll go do that with LeBron and Lakers. If you're LeBron, veteran leader like Millsap, who can get his own bucket, why wouldn't you want that? So I feel like Lakers is a good fit there. Next is Dwight Howard. I also feel like he will reunite the Lakers since the Lakers realized, oh yeah, we probably should have kept you. Which means Andre Drummond would be on the move. Reggie Bullock. I feel like he will stay with the Knicks because he's been a nobody until within the last year. Also, he's a good role player, so I feel like he would just stay there. JJ Redick, he wants to be in the Northeast, so we already know there's a couple options there. I feel like he'll land with the Celtics. 76ers already got enough shooters, Seth Curry and all that, and then Nets, can't afford them, so Celtics make the most sense here, and they get another veteran player 3 on a roster. Alex Caruso, LeBron loves him. I know he wants to be LA Lakers, so they'll re-sign him. Trevor Ariza for the Heat. I feel like he'll re-sign with the Heat because the Heat need a lot of good 3-and-D guys, and that's their bread and butter. And I feel like with Trevor Ariza's age being so high, he might as well just stay with the team he had somewhat success on last year. Wes Matthews with the Lakers. I feel like he will finally be reunited with the Blazers here. The Blazers need 3-and-D guys who need that defense. As Blazers are a bad defensive team. So Wes Matthews can sign just like a 1-year deal, know it's Dame's last run there, and he can go play with him and not have the pressure of a LeBron being, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, but still be on a relevant team and help him contribute to a good team. Next is Ish Smith. Who's Ish Smith? He's the backup point guard for the Wizards. And we're thinking, well, is he any good? Yeah, he's good. And therefore, I feel like since he helped the Wizards backup point guard, production, I feel like he'll re-sign there. James Johnson, he was a Mav last year and then got traded to the Pelicans. He's a nice kind of 3-and-D type of player, and I feel like the good fit here is for the Utah Jazz. The Jazz desperately need another 3-and-D guy besides Rose O'Neal, and you saw against the Clippers, they desperately need another 3-and-D guy, period, and that's where James Johnson can come and give you that. If you can get him on the cheap, that is, since the Jazz will be already be strong on money as it is. Next is Kent Bazemore from Golden State. I feel like that he wasn't the best fit for the Golden State last year, so I feel like he'll be on the move. And I heard he wants a multi-year million deal, but Golden State ain't going to give that to him. So I feel like a team that could give that to him to get him bolster the scoring guard depth is the Bulls. I feel like he'll go there. And it helped the Bulls finally make it back to the playoffs. Next is TJ McConnell. He was the backup point guard for the Indiana Pacers this past year. And since he had a lot of good production, I feel like he'll re-sign there. Next is Doug McDermott. He's a small forward for Indiana Pacers. Since again that was the team that drafted him, he's done good production there. I feel like, and he's a Midwest type of guy. I feel like he'll just stay in Indiana. Next is Ronnie Hood for the Raptors. I feel like since the Raptors just traded for him again, they'll try to keep him. Alex Burks for New York. I feel like he will stay the next year because he was kind of this, journeyman bench player, and then all of a sudden with the Knicks in the playoffs, he was like their best scorer all of a sudden sometimes. So I feel like since the Knicks need that, he'll stay with the Knicks. Next is Austin Rivers. Now I would say he should stay with the Nuggets since that's the team that gave him kind of resurrected his career last year, but the Nuggets just drafted back a point guard, so I don't think he's going to go back there. The Mavs could use a veteran leader. I know they already have Jalen Brunson to back a point guard, but they could use more scoring off that bench. So I feel like Austin Rivers makes sense here. Next is Fukan Korkmaz. Now, who is he? He's the backup point guard for the 76ers. And I feel like because he had a good role there with the 76ers and Doc Rivers, I feel like he'll stay there. Next is George Niang from Utah. Now, after the regular season, he looked like he was going to get a huge pay raise, but against the Clippers, he stunk so bad. I mean, he wasn't even playable. So I'm not sure which team wants him at this point. He's a good regular season player, I'll give you that. But a team that could use a veteran leader and a good three-point shooter, in my opinion, that can go after him is the Spurs. I feel like the Spurs make a hard push for him because it's also since he's like a system type of player, which Greg Popovich likes. Next is Taj Gibson. I feel like he will stay with the Knicks and with his coach Tom Thibodeau and Derrick Rose. Those are his boys. He'll just stay there. Nerlens Noel from New York. I feel like if I'm the Suns, this is the guy I go after. With Darius Arch, the backup center, being out for most of next season with the ACL tear. If you're the Suns, you need another big man. That was exposed against the Bucks. You need another big man. So this would be smart for the Suns to get Nerlens Noel here. Boban Marjanovic. I feel like he's a Mavs favorite, Luka favorite, and all that. I feel like he'll just stay with the Mavs here. Next is DeMarcus Cousins. Now, this is an interesting one here. This was kind of hard for me to predict what he'll kind of do here. Because there's many different options, different ways he can go here. But in my opinion, I feel like he will, I think he will try to go back to Golden State, in my opinion, to be reunited with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And Steve Kerr, who liked him and wanted him and got him some run in the finals against the Raptors. I feel like since he has some success there, and the Warriors don't have a lot of big men, that could be a good fit for Cousins. And then last but not least, Hassan Whiteside for the Kings. Since I feel like Rashawn Holmes is going to leave, Hassan Whiteside can then assume that starting role position like he was supposed to when he originally signed with the Kings. I feel like he will just stay with Sacramento. So there you go. Those are all my free agency predictions. So from this podcast and from last podcast. So we'll see how many I'm right on. Before I sign off, though, I wanted to talk about quick, another NFL injury football news, and this was with quarterback Carson Wentz for the Colts. Now, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. My guess is he'll probably be at least for the first month of the season, maybe half. We'll see. It depends because if it requires surgery, then probably the whole season. But if it doesn't, then maybe the first half season or so. But either way, this is not good for the Colts. And in fact, I feel like this will cost the Colts a playoff spot because the Colts don't have a capable. They could have a capable. They could have a capable backup quarterback, but we wouldn't know. Jacob Eason's their backup, and he's never started in the NFL. Now, I saw him in college; he was pretty good in college, but we don't know. And then they just drafted Sam Elliott, but apparently he's the third stringer. So unless he comes in a Taysom Hill type of package, you won't see him much. But it's just like if you're the Colts, like this was sad too because Frank Wright's going to be reunited Carson Wentz to see if he can try to fix him. And then not only that, you have a Super Bowl roster and you're an easy division. But now with this, you're probably not going to make the playoffs now. Because if you look at the Colts' schedule, let's say he misses the first 2 months of the season. Versus Seattle, versus Rams, at Tennessee, at Miami, at Baltimore. Then you get a win versus Houston. At San Francisco versus Tennessee again. That's like a 1-6, 1-7 start there without Carson Wentz. So yeah, that changes my predictions on the Colts there. So that's unfortunate for the Colts, and hopefully more starter players are not going to get injured anymore, so we can have a lot of players healthy going into the regular season. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.